Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel Divya Singhi Social Lab. So class 8 students, we are going to start very interesting topic today, that is chapter 3, the rise of the Marathas. So students, I have divided this chapter into 3 parts. So today we are going to discuss part 1 of the chapter, the rise of the Marathas. So students, I am sharing my screen with all of you now. Okay? So students, just 1 second. I hope my screen is visible to all my students. Right? Let's start. So as I told, we are starting the chapter, The Rise of Marathas, part 1. Okay? So student, as the topic name is the rise of the Marathas, the first topic is now, who are the Marathas? So student, the Marathas were the native to the Deccan Plateau, which is present day Maharashtra. And students, the Marathas were identified by the Marathi language. And students, you know, Marathi language has a very rich literary history since the 12th century. Okay, so before I discuss about the political significance, students, Maharashtra was ruled by Yadava dynasty in the 13th century. Okay, so student, Maharashtra was ruled by Yadava dynasty in the 13th century with Devagiri as its capital. Devagiri is the present day Daulatabad. Okay, so Maharashtra that time, during the time of 13th century, was ruled by Yadava dynasty. Okay, with Devagiri as its capital. Okay, now students, if I speak about 14th century, the Yadava dynasty which was ruling in the 13th century, in the 14th century, Yadava dynasty was overcome by the Khilji Sultanate from Delhi. Okay, so student, Yadava dynasty was overcome by the Khilji Sultanate from Delhi. So I hope everything is clear till now, students. So you have to main understand 3 points here. So that first of all, Marathas were the native of the Deccan Plateau, which is present day Maharashtra, and they were identified by which language? Marathi language, and Marathi language has a very rich literary history. Then students, I told that in the 13th century, Maharashtra was ruled by which dynasty? Yadava dynasty. And in the 14th century, the Yadava dynasty was overcome by the Khilji Sultanate from Delhi. Till here, I hope everything is clear. Let's move to the next topic. Now, students, we are going to start very interesting topic here. Students, as you can see, so many political changes were happening. Okay, then also that time are saints and seekers. Okay, I hope you all know saints. Okay, our saints and seekers, they used to follow the path of bhakti. Okay, now what is bhakti? Bhakti is a devotion to the divine. Students, what is bhakti? It's a devotion to a divine. Okay, so students, that time what they were doing, actually if we see the period of 7th to 17th century, the bhakti tradition was spreading all across the region of India. Okay, and it was predated and influenced, actually it predated and influenced the Maratha power. Now students, you know what these bhakti saints used to do? They used to compose devotional songs and poetry in the regional language so that it is accessible to the common people. Now students, you know, have you heard the term bhajans? Okay, so these saints used to compose so many bhajans, and bhajans, that is the part of devotional songs and poetry, so that the message what they want to give should reach the masses in the regional language. Now student, what was the impact? So student, that time many of the saints, they were forming a social organization and they were also creating political awareness. Okay, and many saints, they translated the Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita into Marathi so that it is it can reach to the common people. Okay, and basically this, by this they created a so solid cultural foundation for the Marathas. That's how they created the solid cultural foundation for the Marathas. So that was the role of Bhakti movement. Okay, I hope I'm clear. So students, the main role the saints played was they actually created a political awareness. They translated the Upanishad and Bhagavad Gita into Marathi so that it reaches the common masses, common people, right? So that's how a solid cultural foundation was created for the Marathas. So now next topic. Now students, we are going to discuss about the rise of Shivaji. Okay. Now, student, if I speak about Shivaji, he was born in 1630 in the Bhosle clan. His father was Shahji and his mother was Jijabai. And Shahji used to serve the Deccan Sultanate. Okay. And he was often away from the family. So that time, Shivaji was raised by Jijabai and trusted officials at Pune. If I speak about Shivaji's education, it was all about strong values and good education. Okay, but students, that time, during that period, the constant infighting between the Deccan Sultan caused hardship for common people. So there was a constant infighting between Deccan Sultans. It caused a hardship for common people. Now, students, if I speak about the military rise, okay, at the age of 16, Shivaji launched military campaigns in the Pune region. Students, at very young age, Shivaji launched military campaigns in the Pune region. He captured, he actually, students, his strategy was first, he used to capture all the neglected and unoccupied forts, which are neglected and unoccupied. Okay, so that his defense can be strengthened. Okay. Now, students, he also developed a vision of Swarajya. Like Swaraj means a sovereign kingdom. Okay. And student, he was the one he expanded to India's west coast, securing coastal resources. His main target was coastal resources, securing the coastal resources. Okay. So that's how he founded the Maratha Navy. It was a very revolutionary step that time, students. He founded the Maratha Navy. And student, that time the Mughals and Bijapur Sultanate had only limited naval forces, but Shivaji, he founded a very strong military navy. Okay. Now, students, if I speak about Shivaji's war techniques, he used to use guerrilla warfare techniques. Guerrilla warfare means it will be like small group with great speed and surprise, and they will defeat the larger armies. So in the guerrilla warfare, it is a technique where there will be small group, and with speed and surprise and good knowledge, they used to defeat the large armies. Okay. So I hope it's clear, students. Still here, no doubt. Now, students, now I'm going to discuss about few key battles here. Okay. So first, we are going to discuss about the Battle of Pratapgarh. Okay. So students, first of all, Shivaji is one of the enemy Bijapur Sultan. He sent his commander Afzal Khan to defeat Shivaji. Okay. So that time, Shivaji lured Afzal Khan to a one-on-one meeting at the footstep of Pratapgarh fort. Okay. And he got lured and he came. Afzal Khan came, and that time Shivaji and his army killed him. Okay. And that time the Maratha then routed Khan's army using guerrilla attacks from the mountains. So that was one of the battle of Pratapgarh. Now, students, if I speak about Sheshta Khan now, student, Sheshta Khan ruled the Marathas for over 3 years. Okay. After the 3 years, okay, Shivaji raided Sheshta Khan camp at night with only few soldiers, and Khan was not able to escape that time. Sheshta Khan was not able to escape, and he losing a few fingers, and he withdraw from the Maharashtra. So that was one of the battle of Sheshta Khan. So students, this battle which was happened with Sheshta Khan, it is very similar to our present day surgical strikes. Okay. So I hope I'm clear. There is no doubt. So students, I would like to thank you all. So this was our part 1. Okay. So students, for part 2. Stay tuned and stay connected, and student, don't forget to subscribe my channel Divya Singhi Social Lab. So students, I want to tell very important one thing as well. Students, in case in today's class you didn't understood anything, please write your doubt in the comment section. So as soon as the chapter will get over, what I will do is I will keep on doubt class for those topics which you have not understood. Okay. So students, till then, please subscribe to my channel Divya Singhi Social Lab for all the latest updates. Okay. Thank you all students.